Web3.TV.
Hello and welcome to Web3 Talks. I'm Lisa Amnegard, and today we'll be looking into what's next for AI and how Web3 could play a part in its future. Joining me right now is Marcello Mari, founder of SingularityDAO and a leading voice behind decentralized AI. We'll be looking into what that means, who stands to benefit, and how it might reshape everyday life. So Marcello, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for having me.
And how's your day so far?
Pretty good, thank you. Hot, but pretty good.
Really interesting. So I was doing some research on you yesterday, and you've done so much. You're an innovator. You were behind one of the partnerships of Sophia the robot. So tell me a little bit more about Marcello. Who is Marcello?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So I started in Web3 in 2017, and before that I was actually a journalist. So I was doing your job, and I wrote my first article about blockchain and Bitcoin, I think in 2015, but I didn't quite grasp the whole power of decentralization and Bitcoin back then. So I got my feet deep in 2017 when SingularityNet hired me as at that time director of communication. So I was very hesitant to join it. You know, crypto didn't have a really good name yet, and I was a little bit skeptical about joining a startup. I had a contract with a very large company in Italy, and I'm like, what should I do? And then my friend Simone, also a fellow Italian, convinced me to join SingularityNet. He insisted. I did my due diligence. I got fascinated by Sophia the robot, and I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's try this wild ride. The result is the company that I was about to work with in Italy shut down after 1 year. They ran out of funds, and SingularityNet did one of the largest fundraising in history. They raised 36 million in 60 seconds, but especially and moreover, I got to work with Sophia the robot and a bunch of incredibly smart people from whom I learned most of what I know about artificial intelligence. So that was 2017. SingularityNet eventually became one of the largest AI companies in the world, and especially the first company that merged blockchain technology and artificial intelligence. Fast forward to 2021, together with my business partner, Mario Casiraghi, we started SingularityDAO, which was the DeFi arm of SingularityNet, and the first company ever combined artificial intelligence and DeFi. At that time, I came out with the term AI DeFi, and now they call it DeFi, AI, DeFi sort of thing, which I find a little bit cacophonic, to be honest, and difficult to pronounce.
So wait, so that is a combination of AI and centralized finance, or?
And decentralized finance, yeah, correct.
So and now you're taking the step even further by decentralizing AI itself.
Yeah.
Which is a very interesting space, in my opinion, because we have these major AI companies like OpenAI, Gemini, all these companies, and we can just see what's happening in the UAE, where the actual government is now working with these companies. But you're working on decentralizing all of that. So first of all, can you explain what decentralized AI is and what it actually means?
Yeah, absolutely. To give credit to the actual owner, inventor of the term decentralized AI, which is Ben Gorzel, which is the founder and CEO of SingularityNet, which is now called ASI, by the way. Ben has been preaching and advocating for decentralized AI since 2017, but even before he was working on an open source framework for agent-to-agent communication called OpenCog. SingularityNet was basically the blockchainization of OpenCog, and thanks to him, the whole movement about decentralized AI started. So Ben beat Ben. Ben being Ben, as an outside thinker and scientist, he always believed that the control should be hand over to people and not to big centralized institutions. So the goal of Ben in his life, and I think the goal of every single AI scientist in the world, the holy grail is AGI, artificial general intelligence, right? That we refer as an artificial intelligence that can act and think like a human brain. How to get there is still a mystery, and there are many different pathways and many different theories, right? But what I believe is very important is that we keep a decentralized approach. There is such a powerful technology that it's more important than the invention of fire, for example, or invention of the wheel, something that will change forever the human landscape and interaction between humans and machines. And not only. This technology needs to be controlled by the people and owned by the people, okay? We are the data source. Humans are the data source. Private data are the most important form of data out there. So blockchain technology allow us to create decentralized digital identities, for example, that allow us to keep control of the data, that allow us to keep control of the source of AI, therefore to keep control of the AI.
Many of these major tech companies are working on trying to sort of implement safe AI. So in terms of why would we need a decentralized AI?
No, exactly because of that. I don't think many companies are actually striving to create safe AI. So the Silicon Valley approach right now has been, let's create powerful technology first, and then let's go and cry out to the regulators that we need more regulation because otherwise it can turn wrong. I think this is the wrong approach. We need to start developing an AGI that is safe for humans and easy to use and safe to use. Michelangelo used to say that he didn't create the statue. He was looking at the marble block, and then the statue would just come out alive, and his job was just to let the statue free, the creation free. I feel like Silicon Valley and many others are using the same approach. Just because AGI is inevitable, and if I don't create it, someone else will create it, doesn't mean that we shouldn't create it in a safe way, that we shouldn't think about an AGI or an AI that is safe to use and open. I mean, I'm not the first one to say that OpenAI is the opposite of open, right? It's very closed AI. They don't even mention the data sources, which are extremely important, and which is where regulators are currently tapping into. We need to know where the data are coming from, the data that the AI is being trained on. So if the data come from us, we should be able to retain this data or somewhat to monetize this data. And I think that's a very interesting use cases for blockchain into artificial intelligence, for example.
It's kind of a nice mission to give the power back to the people using the AI, right? So how do you actually build this?
Well, there's many ways, and there are several companies that are working at this, and it really depends on the goal of the AI that we are talking about. So, for example, the most famous one is WorldCoin, right? WorldCoin creates digital identities for the users. How do you link your real identity with your digital identity? There needs to be some sort of biometric. I don't know if you're familiar with OpenAI, with WorldCoin yourself, but they have
the orb, right?
The orb, yeah. Correct. Yes, I was looking for that word. The orb. The orb that scans your retina, and they link your digital identity through your physical identity to scanning your retina, right? Which is extremely invasive. In fact, there hasn't been a lot of success to do so in first world countries, especially. And the main problem is that it's the same project launched by the same person that launched OpenAI. So it's always some algorithm behind. So I give you the poison and I give you the remedy, right? It doesn't work to me. But I think there are more clever way that this could be implemented. And I know that, for example, Near Protocol is working on a solution that allows users to use LLMs, but keeping their conversation private. You can basically add a security layer, a proxy, in between the user and the LLM. Okay, so whatever language model I want to use, if I use Llama, if I use Claude, if I use ChatGPT, or anything else, Gemini, me as a user, I could have an interface that secure my data and filter the data. So the data exchange remain anonymous.
So technically, every user would have their own chatbot, but it would be on the blockchain, or?
Well, in the case that I just described, no, it's the same large language model, but simply your data are privatized and secure, okay? They're encrypted through the blockchain. So the other parts will never see your data, will never own your data. Whether we are all gonna have our own chatbot, which I like to call AI agent, okay? I think it's more interesting, and also like there is a big difference and I can tap into it. I think absolutely yes. So what is an AI agent? Okay, like a brutal way to describe an AI agent is that it's an application built on top of a large language model. Like developers will hate me right now. I'm sorry, it's not an application. I understand, but we can see it as an application that use the reasoning capabilities or the statistical reasoning capabilities of a large language model. But the agent is autonomous and independent and has its own memory. So you can task the agent to do whatever you want based on the access tool that they have, okay? So for example, we can create an agent with your personality trained on your voice, trained on your likes, trained of your data that I can interact with. Or even more interesting, your AI agent could interact with my AI agents. And we're gonna create an AI to AI communication, okay? Now, everyone says that every enterprise in the world will eventually use AI agents. And I agree, enterprises will use AI agents. AI agents are going to become and are the workforce of the future. Many enterprises are replacing their workforce with AI agents. Some of these jobs are very redundant and automated and can easily replaced by AIs. But what I say goes further. I think every enterprise in the world will become an AI agent.
Every enterprise in the world will become an AI agent.
Yes.
That's a bold statement.
It's a very bold statement.
So why do you think that?
In the 90s, either Ben Horowitz or Marc Andreessen, I never remember, said software will lead the world, okay? I believe AI will lead the world. And if AI will lead the world, every software will be AI. And if every software will be AI, every app and every technological company would be an AI agent. Imagine Uber being an AI agent or managed by an AI agent. Airbnb will be an AI agent. Airbnb will talk with your AI agent. Or maybe you and I will go on holiday and it will talk to an AI agent and we'll book your Uber. And this will all be done through AI to AI communication. These AIs, okay, will exchange data with each other in a way, in a shape or form.
So
needs to be.
They'll basically replace humans in terms of what they do on a day-to-day basis.
They will replace software. It will replace humans in many ways, but it will improve our life. It will be a better and easier life, okay?
It's kind of a utopian view of the
potential,
world.
Yeah.
So the first question that comes to my mind, let's just imagine that AI agents are now doing everyone's jobs, taking over enterprises. Who is accountable if anything goes wrong? Yeah, no, that's
a big issue. So what the industry is currently working on is the one that we called KYA, Know Your Agent. So it's basically a KYC for agents, right? So we need to build a registry of agent ownership. Like, how do you say, in Italian we call it anagrafe, like a global registry when you are born, basically they register your name at the municipality. And we should do something like this for agents as well, like for blockchain geeks, like an IPFS for agents, right? So you can immediately identify the ownership of that agent. Agents will be created by humans for the foreseeable future. There will be agents created by agents, but you can always go back to the source if you can track it through an open and transparent and decentralized ledger that is the blockchain, for example. So in that case, the liability needs to go back to the agent developer. Although these agents are going to be inevitably autonomous. So either we give a proper legal status to agents, which is going to be extremely tricky and probably it's gonna take too long, or the liability needs to go back to the developer. There is currently very little expertise in the world on how we secure AI agents.
There's, I think, very little security when it comes to AI in general.
Sí.
I did read an article in FT where these major tech companies are spending less on security when it comes to launching new AI models and things like that.
Yeah.
So we often hear these words around governance, privacy, security. Are these companies doing enough to make AI safe?
Safety measures, cybersecurity measures are absolutely necessary. I feel the reason why because I've been working on this field for the past 6 months, and I've been exploring how to secure AI agents. And the reason is lack of skills, okay? There is not really like a lot of knowledge and skills around how to secure AI agents. LLM is a little bit different, but it's very expensive. So lack of skills, and the field is accelerating too fast. If they don't feel that agents or LLM needs to be properly secured.
So what is kind of required, do you think, in order to fully deploy decentralized AI?
So first of all, there needs to be awareness at the user level, but also at government levels. So I was talking today with a friend of mine who works for a very large crypto AI organization, and they went on a tour to speak with some regulators in the United States. And it seems that the privacy component is not a major issue for them. They're more interested in safe AI and transparency. So we need to understand. So first of all, we need, as you said, we need to find a compelling use case and to make people interested into decentralized AI. Why should they care? Why should they care about using decentralized artificial intelligence? Is it for data privacy? Maybe, maybe not. Is it because otherwise things can go horribly wrong? Potentially, yes. So, there is a whole ecosystem that is working in order to build safe solutions to develop the next artificial general intelligence. On the opposite hand, we have very large giants which have virtually infinite amount of money that are developing centralized solution. It's going to be a race, and I hope the David would eventually win against Goliath. It's going to be a struggle, but I mean, I think it's a challenge that will determine the future of humanity. I don't just think that every single enterprise or tech company will become an AI agent. I don't just think that every human will eventually have an AI agent copy, but I also believe that, as somebody else, I think Jeff Bezos famously said, the first trillionaire will be an AI, or will be a humanoid robot.
Yeah, he said, I think, that there are going to be billions of AI agents in the
There
near
will
future.
be, billions, probably, yeah. I mean, how many humans we have? So we're going to have an AI agent for every human. And, your fridge will have an AI agent. Mm. But what I'm very interested about, when we reach a moment in which AI trading agents, for example, can access infinite amount of information and process infinite amount of information. Imagine the power of an AI agent-driven hedge fund, and how rich can it become? Imagine a super AI agents that we will have CEOs that are becoming AI agents, and that's AI agents that will become CEOs. And that's why I firmly believe that the richest entity in the world will be an AI by 2030.
If we just want to talk about the main benefits for a user like you and me using decentralized AI, what would that be? So
there are many ways. So the data privacy that I already mentioned, potential governance, so control, transparency over the training data, but also if you combined decentralized AI with decentralized finance, there is a lot of magic that can happen. So we're familiar with the world of decentralized finance, right? Where there are basically disintermediating the banking system, okay? So there is no more the need of going to your bank and purchase stocks and finding the best yield. Right now, you have solutions that allows you to literally go to conversational interface and write, okay, I have $1,000 in USDT, 1,000 USDT that I want to invest. Find me the best yield for today. And it goes and invests in the best yield opportunity, and then automatically disinvest and put money into another. So there's many ways that we can take advantage of agentic AI and decentralized agentic AI.
And we are right now in the UAE, but where do you see decentralized AI unfolding?
Decentralized AGI will unfold where the best minds and best technical talents are. In the UAE, we're attracting a lot of entrepreneurs and successful entrepreneurs. I think we need to do better in attracting the grassroots talents, into building universities that will forge the next development force of the future.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. And if anyone wants to learn more about decentralized AI, where can they go? Where can they find you?
They can ask ChatGPT. No, they can find me mostly right now. I'm not super active on social media because I'm building something in stealth. So I'm not publishing a lot about my work, but I often talk about decentralized AI on media, publication, podcast, YouTube. There's a lot of material about me that can be found. There's a lot of smarter people than me that speak about decentralized artificial intelligence. I'm very bullish on agentic AI right now. I do believe that the best use case for crypto right now comes from AI agents, because any exchange of value that will happen between agents, whether in DeFi or data transaction, will have to happen on the blockchain.
So I want to ask you a little bit more about AGI, and my first question to you, do you think it's even achievable? Because so many people have tried.
Yeah. That's a really good question. I mean, it's not for granted that we're gonna achieve AGI. So there are different schools of thoughts, okay? There are people that said that we already have AGI. There's somebody who believes that ChatGPT is already AGI. Because eventually, so ChatGPT, what is ChatGPT? It's a statistical model. It's a statistical model that, based on the data that I injected with, can understand and guess what the next answer, what the most logical, I guess, next answer is for you. However, and by a large language model have shown very impressive reasoning capabilities that have exceeded most of developers' expectation. However, is that AGI? No. It's not AGI. It's not AGI because it doesn't think independently and it only relies on language. So potentially the best way to AGI could be neurosymbolic AI, which is a sort of AI that mixes different techniques, not just neural nets like LLMs do. But the path is not yet clear. Personally, I believe yes, we will get to AGI eventually, and once we get to AGI, we will get to ASI, which is an infinite time more powerful artificial general intelligence. And when that comes, we're probably gonna solve most of humanity's most pressing issues. So
if you were to define AGI in your terms, what would you say?
So AGI, in my terms, it's an artificial intelligence that think and act like a human brain. So can discern many different tasks autonomously, can create very complex workflow, can empathize with humans, can show emotional intelligence. It's literally like a human brain, and can mimic a human brain in many different ways. Mimic, not be like a human brain. It doesn't have feeling. I don't think we're gonna have sentient AI. I don't believe in sentient AI.
And you mentioned that, let's say, AGI could potentially cure or be used in medical fields. But why do we need AGI? Because we haven't yet figured it out on our own. We need AGI to figure out what we haven't yet figured out, right? Solve climate change, for example. Find new natural resources. Optimize cost across different industries. All of this will be done by artificial intelligence, or cure cancer, as you were going to say, probably, I'm assuming. Yeah. And if we just look at, let's say, how you think the world will look like in 5 years with AI, how do you see it? What I hope to see, it's a world where humans wouldn't have to work anymore, and an AI will generate income for us. It will take care of us. I see a world where humans can go back to do what they want to do and what they're best at doing, and find purpose in different things other than working for 9 hours a day, 5 days a week in best case scenarios.
I think AI can free humanity. I think AI can improve and will improve the quality of humans in many, many different ways. And it will program it in a way that it will take care of us rather than fight against us. Like the scenario where AGI will eventually figure out that humans are a plague and would want to destroy us all. I think it's a potential, it's possible, it might actually happen, but it's a very remote scenario. I think most likely AI will try to improve humans. It will nurture humans so that we can become better people instead of destroying the planet, destroying ourselves, and yeah.
I heard recently that I think it was OpenAI hired someone to create how we will use AI in the future, which is quite interesting because we have, let's say, tablets for the internet, and we have certain things for certain different inventions. So how do you think we will be using AI?
Well, very likely through brain-machine interface, brain implants. Probably we're gonna be in maybe 10 years time, we're gonna have safe brain implants. But if not, it's going to be purely conversational AI. Like smartphones are a very limiting technology that already reached plateau. There cannot be a better smartphone. The better smartphone would be a conversational smartphone, an AI assistant that I can either hold in my hand or attach to my jacket or implanted in my hand. And that's the way we're gonna access AI in the near terms. In the far future terms, and I mean, I'm not entirely sure if I believe that, but we're going to upload our consciousness into the cloud. It will become one with AI and reach that unity and the sense of unity is that religions have been preaching for the past 2,000 years. I think potentially that could be reached through technology.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I know that you also speak at very many events. Or do you have any upcoming events where you'll be speaking at?
Not for the summer. We are taking a break.
Okay. Well, hopefully soon. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Lisa.
That's all that we had for you today. My name is Lisa Amnegard, and you're watching Web3 Talks.
Web3.tv